Hello, welcome to the Free Info Podcast, the podcast where three friends are the dreams being professional footballers dashed away as children when all three of us discover food, have their say on the Premier League. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you might have noticed that we have changed the intro. That is because, how many episodes is this now? 136? 136 episodes in. We've just discovered that intro could be considered ableist. So, and we don't want to. We want to apologize if we have I'm not saying that. We want to apologize because we didn't understand, we didn't know what we did when we started this. It was a joint decision, and our friend Darren, who's not with us today, was fine with what we said. We didn't know, so we can only apologize for that. But we'll get into the football. We are joined, of course, by the ever-present Coach Kojo.
Yo.
How you doing,
Happy
sir?
to be here again. I'm good, man. I'm here with some brothers that are going to share some pain that I felt about a couple of years ago. That they're in current pain right now. They are all doing wonderful things. Three guys. One guy, I want you to introduce them. Can I introduce them? Can I do the thing?
Yeah, go. Go.
All right, cool. Let me start with a guy that I'm in a group chat with, a guy that is constantly screaming at Harry Winks every day in my group chat. Frustrated with with Jose. That is Jack. Welcome, Jack.
What's going on? I haven't known what depression has felt like yet, but this is as close to, hopefully this is the closest to I get, because there's not much hope in football with Spurs right now. There's not much to look forward to, but we'll get into that later.
Okay, well done. Well, welcome to the show. Secondly, I'm going to introduce a good friend of ours who has appeared on quite a lot. Most recently, when we did the show concerning Jermaine Defoe.
Defoe.
A great friend, a joint Sol Campbell hater. My good friend, Darren T.
Yeah.
Why'd you hate him?
Big up.
I'm just trying.
What's wrong with you, man? Greatest Premier League centre-back.
Listen, thank you for having me on the show. Sol Campbell. All right.
And last but not least, this guy, I respect him and his boy Dan on their show, wonderful show called Tap In Football. If you ain't listened to that, you better go listen to that ASAP. Subscribe to that, everything. I don't want to go any further. I want him to introduce himself more than anything. He's a fantastic guy. He goes by the name of Tobi.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on, mate. Glad to be here. Not glad to talk about Spurs, though.
Well, you had me on your show last time on the weekend, but Spurs didn't play, so I thought this was the perfect time. And then I messaged you coincidentally after Son and Loris had beef on the pitch, so it was the perfect timing. So I'm glad to have you guys on. And all three of you, I believe, are part of Spurs Unfiltered as well, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
We got Spurs Unfiltered.
Yeah, so if you're following Spurs Unfiltered, make sure you follow them on YouTube, Twitter, and anywhere else they are as well. All right, I am ready.
You're ready?
I am ready.
Should we just let them go? I mean, let's get rid of the basics. Spurs won. They won yesterday, 1-0. Own goal from what was his name? Michael Keane, right?
That's
Lo Celso. That's a Lo Celso assist, no? Can you say that?
I don't know if that
doesn't technically count.
I'm joking. I'm only joking. I'm just gonna let you, because I think all three of you kind of come in here joint hating on Jose Mourinho. Would you say that's correct? No?
Right, I'll let you go because I don't necessarily hate Jose Mourinho. I'm hoping for the best, and he does have a great record. But the selections that he's making at the moment are just, I'm just baffled by what he's doing at the moment. That's what I'll say. You two.
Well, okay. I'll ask Tobi first. Let's discuss Harry Kane, because Harry Kane, prominent goal scorer, can shoot from anywhere, any angle, elite finisher. In my opinion, still the best striker in the world, regardless of form right now. But how he's being used in the team right now is kind of detrimental to his real talent. So give us an insight to how you feel he's being used and what's happening with him.
Well, it takes a special type of manager to reduce the best striker, in my opinion, in the league, and probably top 3 best strikers in the planet to having, what was it, one attempt in his own box yesterday, and it was a blocked attempt. Yeah. Our best striker is feeding off scraps. Can you imagine? He's feeding off scraps to the point now where even our own fan base are questioning what he's doing in the match because we're not seeing him in the box. And it's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. I don't know whether it's a combination of 2 things. Darren touched on it earlier. The manager's team selections, they look, on paper, they look like they should get the job done. Yeah, they look like they should get the job done. But when you actually watch how it unfolds on the pitch, you can see why he keeps getting it wrong. And it may not be the right answer, but there are better answers available on the bench that he just, for whatever reason, just wants to ignore. Because for whatever reason, maybe it might make us less defensively solid, etc., etc. But he's ignoring them. And as a result, Harry Kane is suffering. Yeah. And then you also have the second person to blame, which is the chairman. The guy who sanctioned the sale of our most creative player in the past 6-7 years. Don't get me wrong, he needed to go, but the problem was you didn't replace him. So 1, you didn't replace our most creative player who we've had in the last 7 years with another playmaker. And 2, the creative players that we have in our squad that can help enable Harry Kane to score goals, you don't want to play them together. So of course he's going to suffer. Of course he's going to suffer. Of course he's going to suffer.
I would just add, sorry to cut you. I would just add that he didn't replace arguably our best player for the last 4 or 5 years, Moussa Dembele. We've got no DM. We've got no recognized DM. Sissoko does a job, but just breaking up play and not being able to pass doesn't cut it. So I just thought I'd throw that in there as well, because that is a huge reason why we're so bad at the moment.
Yeah. And then we're looking at Pierre-Emile Højbjerg to replace him as well, which at first I was like, you know what, it's the kind of profile of player we need. And then after the last few matches, I was like, you know what, we need world-class players in that position to even get us remotely close to improving, because we're in an absolute rut here. And it's just about Jose. I always used to think he was one of the most adaptable managers around. The guy, he knows he always caters to every opponent. He always, basically he responds to his environment essentially as a coach. But what kind of responses, sitting back, playing a low block against Sheffield United and trying to break with an absolute catastrophe of defenders in that back line? But why aren't you playing to your strengths? Any common sense manager would play to their strengths. I look at Jurgen Klopp when he first joined Liverpool, right? All right, got a terrible defense, right? These guys leak goals galore, right, left and center, right? Let's play rock and roll football. We'll outscore everyone, right? We're not going to win every game. We're going to concede loads of goals. But you know what? The fans are going to love it. And we're playing to our strengths, we're at least trying to do something. We're making the most of what we've got. Sitting back is not making the most of what you got with this terrible team, right? Terrible back line. We've got good enough attacking players to score goals. We're not even starting our best, most talented attacking player, Tanguy Ndombele, right? One of the best strikers in the world, Harry Kane. He's playing in DM. He's in the centre circle for 80% of the game. Heung-min Son, I don't know what's happened to him, but I think it's down to coaching when it comes to our lack of creativity, our lack of attacking play. Heung-min Son's always looking to just drive the ball and score. He's not looking to pass to Kane. Lucas Moura is always, he tries to do that. He just runs into defence and falls over. And Lo Celso, someone that was brought in to, add creativity to the team. He's sitting back deep with Winks and Sissoko, because Winks and Sissoko are useless passing the ball forward. These two don't know how to hit a ball. They cannot. They see the ball and they see players in front of them. They panic and then go sideways again. I don't want this to be a rant about Harry Winks, because he's trash. But what does he? Does anyone in this call know what Harry Winks brings to a team? Because I can't answer.
I mean, I spoke to you yesterday about him because I was watching the game, and you know, he had quite a lot of forward passes on where the player in front of him had acres of space. You're talking about Kane or Celso or what's the other guys? Lucas Moura was more on that side of the pitch. In acres of space in front of him, just make the pass, and he would hesitate, get close down, then turn back and go back to Aurier or go back to Dyer or Sissoko. Do you think that's because you guys have known him? He came through your academy. He's a Tottenham born and bred sort of player. Did he ever have that in his locker, or is it just a thing where again it's down to bad coaching? Like, what do you think it is?
Go on, Toby. Go on.
It's the player. I don't think it's anything to do with Mourinho. I'm not going to put that on Mourinho. I'm not even going to put Sonny's form on Mourinho. I think fundamentally it's a three-pronged issue that we're seeing this season. And Harry Winks contributes to one of the three issues, which is players fundamentally underperforming. Obviously, Jack's going to say that Harry Winks is trash. I actually disagree. I don't think he's a trash player. I think he's a decent player, and I think last year, certainly for us, he was a good player. Last season, he was a good player. I don't care what anyone tells me. And I think his best qualities, receiving the ball under pressure, and obviously his passing, it may be limited at times, but he keeps the game. He keeps possession, recycles.
No.
So I know what Jack's going to say. Keep things ticking. I know. I'm not even trying to make excuses for him, but fundamentally, he's underperformed this season. There's been many times where he's given away stupid fouls. His passing has still not gone up a gear because he can make those passes, but they're far and few in between. We saw games against Watford in the first half where he was making really good passes. We saw a game against Brighton when Harry Kane had a goal disallowed, which I didn't think was offside, where he split the defence open with one pass into Harry Kane. We saw years ago when he made that pass to Kieran Trippier against Real Madrid. I can give you more and more examples where this guy can actually make long raking passes to at least disrupt the defence. But the problem with him is I don't know whether it's a quality issue or whether it's a mentality issue, but he can't do it consistently. And when we're playing when we're playing against teams where we're going to have the lion's share possession, it's not enough for you to keep the game ticking. You need to be able to disrupt that midfield and disrupt that defense with your passing. I want to see line-breaking passes. Loads of people will show me stats about, Harry Winks passes forward. You can't tell me that a forward... I don't want those 5-yard forward passes where Lo Celso's here and Harry Winks is just slightly behind him. I want passes where you're breaking lines, like 10, 15-yard passes that are actually going to rattle the opposition. We don't see that from Harry Winks.
Michael, no, I say this, but I call him the English Mikel Arteta. The guy, his passing is just... there's no range to his passing, as like Toby said. But the fact that Toby, you'd have to go back a few years to name some passes, and the fact that he's a 24-year-old teenage sensation, it should tell you that this guy hasn't improved. He hasn't improved. Honestly, he has not stepped up from when he made his debut. So that's one thing. That's one thing that I'm like, this guy isn't good enough. If he's not improving after all these years, he's in his mid-20s now. And I say the same with Dele Alli. As a disclaimer, Harry Winks isn't the issue here. He's just someone that I admit I do pick on, but he is an issue. But fundamentally, we know what our issues are. And I'll say the same thing about Dele Alli. He's just absolutely declined massively. He peaked years ago. And with him, again, he wasn't the issue. Yes, he didn't play, but he's a second striker in a world where there's no second strikers. So where does he fit in any system, in any team in the world? Who would want to buy him? Because I think he's surplus to requirements now.
I don't know about that.
I think he is.
And I'll just say, right, with regards to Harry Winks, right, I always thought, from he was young, I've said it to you before, Coach, that he's a baller. Do you remember we went to the Spurs game and I'm sure we were talking about Harry Winks?
Yeah.
And how much of a baller I thought he was. I think the problem is that he's just doing as he's told in terms of where he's being positioned. I think it's the wrong position. He's more of a number 8 than, say, a 6 to me, right? But he also... I'm kind of in agreement with both Toby and Jack in terms of he's 24 now. He needs to elevate his game. He has got he has got those passes in his locker. I also want to mention the cross against Fulham. Do you remember that was the last minute goal? It was it scored it. It was
Nkudu crossed it. Yeah,
Nkudu crossed it. Sorry,
right.
Nkudu crossed it and Winks scored it. Right? He's not advanced enough in terms of, he doesn't get into advanced positions enough, but I think he's just doing what he's told. So I think it's kind of part of that has limited his game. And that was before Mourinho was there. That was around Poch times as well. So
yeah, I agree with Darren. I think he should be more advanced, but
he's the point now. It's a problem. The problem is now, like, who's he going to replace in the squad in an advanced position? He's not. So for me, he's a squad player at best, or you'll find that he'll go somewhere else and thrive.
You know what it is, Darren. I don't actually think he's more advanced. But I do agree that he's not a DM. For me, Harry Winks has always been a central midfielder. And his best performances for Spurs have come in the central midfield, in that sort of like number 8 position where you have someone behind you to sort of screen the back for, and your job, get the ball, receive it, under pressure, release the ball, or try and carry the ball forward. Harry Winks is a decent dribbler of the ball. Let's not beat around the bush. I know Jack will say we have to go back years, but I can go, as I said, I can go back to last season, which was his best season. I can look at games against Barcelona where we had no Eriksen, no Ali, etc. And in that second half, Harry Winks was single-handedly carrying our midfield when we lost that game 4-2. I fast-forward a couple months back to Barcelona at Nou Camp. He was by far and away one of our best players. I can speak of Inter Milan in that home match. We wouldn't have won that game without him. He was our man of the match that game. I can speak of so many matches where this guy last season, he came in and he did a fantastic job. Even when we won 2-0 at the Emirates, Harry Winks was one of our best players that night. So for me, I think he serves a purpose in this team. But I don't think he's good enough to be a starter right now. And I think for him to stamp his long-term future at our club, he really needs to elevate his game because, like Jack said, he's 24 years old. He's not getting any younger. There are midfielders who are younger than him that can do ridiculous things with football. So if we're seeing someone like Ndombele, who's being seen as this pariah, he can do crazy things with football, and he's younger than Harry Winks. So what does that say to you about your position in this team? If you want to be that Tottenham born and bred, oh yeah, he's one of our own, you got to stake a claim for why you need to be in this team. And he's not done that this season. He's actually gone backwards.
I'm still personally thinking that as a DM, they've kind of limited him.
He's not a DM, exactly.
I feel sorry for him, to be honest with you. I feel sorry for him.
Sorry to cut you off. Who is a DM in your squad then? Because
no one is a DM. We don't have a DM. Our closest
that's
DM,
why I want Højbjerg.
Our closest DM is Eric Dyer, and he's pony. He's absolutely pony in DM.
He's not even a centre back. He's not even a footballer, to be honest.
So we have to do a makeshift thing where we play Winks or Sissoko there now. For me personally, Sissoko is a marriage of convenience now. He's not a DM. We know he's not going to be perfect there, but he is the best thing we have there because he's the most defensively minded out of Winks and Dyer in that position. I'm sorry, he really is. And he has the energy to cover the likes of Aurier when he inevitably bumps forward and leaves gaping holes in behind. I just feel sorry for Harry Winks because, again, he's not a defensive midfielder, but at the same time, he himself will tell you probably that he's not been at his best. And there's been many matches where he's put in some weak performances. So we need to see more of him on the ball.
Is this form a personnel thing? Because you can argue, I think you might agree with this, that you weren't exactly playing your best football when Pochettino was there at the start of the season.
Agreed.
And now it seems like it looked like it got a little bit of a boost when Mourinho came firstly. But now it's just gone downhill because yesterday was just horrendous. Just a horrendous match. Both sides were just as awful as each other, to be honest with you. Is it a personnel thing? Because everybody, I thought personally that on paper, this was a perfect Mourinho side.
I'll go first. Sorry, I love talking about Spurs. As I said, it's a three-pronged issue. It's not just personnel. Don't get me wrong, it is personnel, but it's not just personnel. It's the personnel, it's the manager, and it's the chairman. It was the same thing when Pochettino was there. Loads of people would say, oh yeah, too many Spurs fans are fans of Poch, rare tear tear. That might be the case, but a lot of Spurs fans will call it how it is. Pochettino massively underperformed. And if that was any other manager in any other circumstance, he would have been out the door ages ago. But where you have a situation where a lot of our team was degrading and those areas weren't addressed, a lot of players are underperforming this season. Alderweireld, Sanchez, Lucas Moura, Eric Lamela, even Son Heung-min to a certain extent. Harry Kane's not been at his best. Harry Winks, Serge Aurier being Aurier, Ben Davies declining, Jan Vertonghen finished. We're talking about
That's
probably
the whole team.
Almost half our team.
That's 75% of the squad, man.
Yeah, half our team who have just fell by the wayside, and then you also add into the factor that the managers, as I said, Pochettino underperformed, and now Mourinho, he's not, for me personally, he's not doing anything any better. So it's you put all those three issues together, and it's this mess that you see unfolding right in front of you. So for me, it's not just personnel. All three areas need to change. Daniel Levy needs to spend more money. The manager needs to do better with what he has available, and the players need to improve.
I think 2/3 of it is Daniel Levy, because he's the one that also picks the manager. And I think, this is what I think, right? I think people say, oh, it's a conspiracy or whatnot. He picked, so the Amazon documentary, beginning of the season, right? Who's the biggest, most exuberant manager in the world? Most outspoken manager in the world?
Yeah, it's Mourinho.
You know, put 2 and 2 together, man. This guy wants to increase the profile of the club. And he's sacrificing the football with it, because, I mean, you can see it's just obvious, really, to be honest. Obviously Mourinho's playing his part as well, but the players are the players. That's been happening since February 2019. It was after the Burnley game, when Harry Kane came back. That was a time when people were saying, "Oh, Son's better than Kane" and whatnot. You know, just making up all those myths and lies away. But yeah, it's the players ultimately, because the form was there since last season. Miraculously, in the Champions League, it was a cup run. They were one-off games, what have you. Against City, you can argue we got lucky. Against Ajax, with the first leg as well, and the first half of the second leg, we were horrendous. Those performances were reminiscent of what we're playing like now. And Lucas Moura popped up that game but we can't let sentiment get to us. He still needs to go. But those performances have been there for a while, and Pochettino said it at the beginning of the previous, was it last season? Yeah, he said at the beginning of last season that the painful rebuild is needed, and hasn't even started, really.
Is that rebuild going to be? Are you trusting of Jose Mourinho to be the man in charge of that rebuild? Because, I mean, if you go back to when he was in charge of Man United, the famous Ivan Perisic, he's going to bring in for Martial. Willian was gonna come in as well. So these are players that are you can consider over the hill. So are you trusting if Levy was going to, I don't know for years, but if he was going to delve into his pocket, is Jose Mourinho the man to be in charge of that rebuild?
Well, he said that he had a press conference the other day, and when he was asked about the type of players that he wants to bring in, our club correspondent sort of insinuated whether he'd be looking to bring in sort of more experienced players, like he said. And he said no. He wants to stick with the club's policy of buying sort of like young, talented players who can come in and improve the team. So if he truly believes that, then I'm all for it. But I don't trust him as a manager, and I don't trust Daniel Levy as a chairman anymore. So
that's the thing. That's the thing. With Jose, I mean, I'm not as against him as the rest are, as Jack and Toby are. But I do think Levy is a massive problem. And the thing is, I've been defending Levy for a long time.
I remember that.
Yes, I know. We've had many a debate on many a debate. The Jack rants are legendary.
better late than never, man. Better late than never.
But however, no, I'm still erring on the side of slight optimism, right? well, not with Levy. In terms of business, great. In terms of Tottenham becoming a cash cow, wonderful. I think it's something we do need as an entity. I believe that. I will never not believe that. But when it comes to transfers and negotiations and what have you, he's holding the club back. He has done for years. Take Bruno, for instance. Bruno Fernandes, right? Yeah, you can smile, coach, yeah? It makes me absolutely sick. Every time I watch United, it makes me sick because he is there fighting it up for United, right? And we wouldn't pay, 40-odd million for him? 45 mil for him? Right? And I'm just sitting there thinking, wow, because Levy offered some derisory 20 million plus add-ons, right? And him and his plus add-ons thing, right? It's not working in today's football. Do you understand? It don't work in today's football. You got to pay the pays. You have to. And I'm not saying pay like Harry Maguire money for everybody, right? Or be as silly as United paying 80 million for Harry Maguire. Shots fired. But anyway, right? Just try and don't come with these little derisory offers. And the thing is, other chairmen across the world have got their backs up. As soon as Levy comes along, they don't want to do business with him. They don't want to, right? And think of it in you're another chairman in another chairman's shoes, right? A rival chairman's shoes. Daniel Levy comes along, you're thinking this idiot. Look what he's gonna try, and immediately you're gonna just say, nah, don't bother, right? Because he's gonna come with some form of derisory offer, and I think that is where he is holding the club back. Where Mourinho's concerned, he's won it all, and that's all I can say. He's won it all, but I don't know what's going through his head at this particular moment. So,
how would you guys line up? Because I mean, Ndombele, so when he came at the beginning of the season, I think his first game, in fact, he scored a goal. He came off the bench, he came off, he scored the equaliser, I believe. Obviously showed his quality. The main issue was fitness. Now, Mourinho said earlier that he's been training well. He understands what the team needs from him and all that kind of stuff, blah blah. But let's say if fitness is still an issue, regardless, I'm sure with fitness an issue, you can play about 60 to 70 minutes as a professional footballer. That's what I would expect from you at the very least. How would you line up Spurs right now? What would be your best 11, or maybe at least your best midfield anyway? Start with Jack.
It'll have to be Lloris in goal. It's gonna have to be a lot of these players, reluctantly. It'll be Aurier, Sanchez, Tobi at centre back. I don't want to see Dyer anywhere near that team. Left back, I want to see Sessegnon at left back, to be honest, but because he can't be any worse than Ben Davies. Ben Davies is so bad now. It's to the point where the guy's he's been branded as Mr. Reliable. He's someone to rely on in that position defensively. He can't defend. He can't attack. He can't do anything. So you might as well bring a bit more energy into the team. I get that Sessegnon needs to increase his tenacity and aggression in that position, but I'll rather him there than Davis any day of the week. Midfield, Sissoko, Tanguy, GLC. You need to play them. You need to just go all guns blazing. You need to play your best players. And then Son on the left, Bergwijn on the right, Kane up front. That's our best team, but he's not going to see that.
Okay. Darren T.
Right, I'm going with exactly the same as Jack. We agree on something for once.
Finally.
Now,
Lloris in goal, but I'm telling you from now, I'm anti-Lloris, but it's the best we've got. I'm anti-Lloris. I don't care what anybody's got to say.
Why is that?
Too many mistakes, too many individual errors over the years. Right, his time's up. So ever since France won the World Cup, right, I think he's just reached the pinnacle of his career, and you can see mentally that it's affecting him.
You showed some passion yesterday.
No, you can shake your head all you want, my friend, but that's the thing.
He was done before that, I think.
He was done before that, yeah. I agree.
I wanted him out before that, but what else do we have? We had to give him a chance. But for me, it has to be Lloris. Aurier at the back, and I'm saying this really grudgingly, because that man is a complete liability. I defended him for so long, and he's just proved me wrong and everybody else right. Sanchez, I don't know why everybody dislikes him so much. I actually quite like him. He's got a bit of a mistake in him from time to time, but I do like
I
him.
think that's why.
That's why.
He is 24 years old, and it doesn't look to me like he's improving in any way. Me personally, I don't know, man. I think it's time for him to go.
He was better. He was better 2 seasons ago, to be honest.
He was, but maybe I'm being romantic. I don't know. Sanchez, Toby, the experience. I would go with Sessegnon at the back because he was a left back at Fulham before he was left mid. He can't get any worse. You can't. Well, I mean, you can't get any. Sorry, that's the best we've got. Then Ben Davies, sorry, is he's average at the very best. Midfield 3: Lo Celso, Sissoko, Ndombele, with Sissoko holding, and then Bergwijn, Kane, and Son. It's a no-brainer.
Okay. Toby.
I stick with Hugo. Lloris, I still think he's a very good keeper. I know obviously Darren and Jack will say that he's done, but we don't make the Champions League final without him last year. And I think probably about from November last year, he was easily one of our best players. But the fans won't admit it. They'll say I'm chatting nonsense, but he was easily one of our best players. So he stays in there. I think we have so many issues to solve, and he is one of that goalkeeping position is not an urgent issue for us to address now. We have bigger fish to fry. Right back, it's a marriage of convenience yet again. It's a guy that we don't want at this club. It's a guy that we've given a million chances to. So, but we have no one else. So he has to play there. So I'm going to have to go with Aurier. Dave, by Dave, I mean Davinson Sanchez. I think he has to be a starter for me. I know he's got mistakes in him. I know he's got head loss. He's that erratic centre-back. But I think our best performances defensively this season have come when he's been in the side. It's no coincidence that we've kept... I think, how many clean sheets have we kept this season? I think we kept about like 6 or 7 clean sheets. It's no coincidence that about probably 4 or 5 of those were when he was starting. I think against the 2 best teams that we've played this season when we had our home matches, I just need to point to the games to show you how good he is. He was our best defender against Liverpool. He was our best defender against Man City. So for me, he stays in the side. Alderweireld, I think he has to play ahead of Eric Dyer. Eric Dyer, I don't rate him as a centre-back. I no longer rate him as a football player. I think his level is below us right now. And I think what you're seeing now is because he's got a decent run. He's had a decent run of form despite giving away a penalty against Man United and playing like a sack crap against Sheffield United. It just gives you that picture of how bad things are right now, that Eric Dyer is one of our informed centre-backs. So for me, he sits out. I think our best centre-back pairing is Sanchez and Alderweireld. So I'd say Alderweireld on the right-hand side, Sanchez on the left-hand side. And then for left-back, I do want to see Sessegnon play, but Sessegnon, he's not good defensively. I like Cess for what he can offer us going forward, but with a system that this Mourinho guy plays where Aurier is the one who bombs forward, unfortunately, that left back has to stay there and essentially sit to form somewhat of a back three shape. And I think that will me personally, that hinders the attacking qualities that Cess brings going forward. And I still think Cess needs to improve defensively. And I feel like his work rate and aggression when he's playing, it needs to improve. But I'd like to see him or Kirkin start over Ben Davies, because Ben Davies is actually tragic now. He's finished. Midfield picks itself. Sissoko at the base, Ndombele and Lo Celso. That is our best midfield right now. It may not be an elite midfield, but it is our best midfield. Play it. And then up top, the front 3 positions, they pick themselves. I was saying before the restart, that Steven Bergwijn, he gassed out in terms of form, and energy before he got injured back in March. but he needs to sort of stamp his place in this squad. And I was still erring on the side where Lucas Moura should still have an equal right to start. But Lucas Moura, he's been pony this season, and Steven Bergwijn, he's been way better than him since the restart. So he has to play. Left-hand side, we got no one better than Son. He's still our second best player. He has to play, but he needs to improve. And then you got Harry Kane. He has to start. We have no backup striker. We can't rest him. We have to play him 90 minutes every game. We have 3 games this week. He's probably going to play 90 minutes in all 3. And then we're going to be shocked on Sunday when he gasses out against Arsenal.
Is Harry Kane starting as a striker or as a DM?
Why don't you guys give an opportunity to Troy Parrott? Because when I went to the Darren T, we know very well when we went to that game together. The guy was finishing like a madman. I was quite scared actually because I was thinking.
Which one was it? The 3-0 against Man City, the training match against Man City.
Darren, which game did we go to again?
Darren's
Might
left
have
the
been that
building.
one. He's on mute.
Yeah.
Oh, he's on mute. Oh, he's probably busy. I can't remember which game it was. It might have been City. I can't remember. It was at the stadium anyway.
Yeah, it would have been Man City. We won 3-0 and he scored 2 goals. I think he scored a penalty.
The left foot.
And he scored another goal on his left foot. Great finish.
Yeah. When top corner. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I was watching that because obviously, like, being United fan, I know about Mason Greenwood, so I knew about his finishing. But I was watching this guy finish. I was like, they've got another Harry Kane. In terms of finishing, the guy just knows how to finish from anywhere. Like, you give him an angle and he finishes.
Let's talk about the game we went to the other day, innit?
Yeah. The guy is actually crazy talented. But you guys are Spurs fans. Do you know any reason as to why we're not at least seeing him on the bench? I mean, what's the Troy Parrott problem?
Well, we've heard that he's got attitude problems as well, and it's not just a Mourinho thing. Pochettino as well. He didn't really play him as well. I think after that League Cup match, we didn't see him again. But I think Mourinho, he annoyed me because he actually said that he was going to give Troy Parrott some opportunities, and we've barely seen him play. You literally chucked him on for like the last 50 minutes of extra time against Norwich. Didn't play him in against Middlesbrough in the FA Cup as well. It just didn't make sense to me at all. And whilst I'm excited somewhat about his future at the club, I don't think he's ready to be starting. But at the same time, we have nothing else. So listen, I'd rather we rest Harry Kane, maybe play Sonny up top or whatever, and have Troy Parrott on the bench. Have him on the bench. Maybe he can get some minutes or so, but he by no means is the answer to our issues up top now. Not yet.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I would agree with that. He's not quite ready yet, but have him on the bench, have him playing some minutes, get him some experience, some first team experience. The fact that he's not even on the bench or he's nowhere to be seen at this particular moment is a bit mad. I look forward to what's to come with him. He signed a new contract the other day, so I'm hoping to see him sort of feature a little bit more next season. It's inexcusable that a club of our size and stature has no backup striker. It's really poor. I know it's been hard to bring in people because they've said, well, you know what? Well, how are we going to get ahead of Harry Kane? But we might as well have just kept Vincent Janssen and Llorente then, if that's the case. We might as well have. Like, what was the point of selling anybody? You've got to have some cover in those positions. And Kane constantly getting injured is so annoying because we play him 90 minutes every game. Then he plays 90 minutes for England. And he's gone through about, what? This is the longest rest he's had in about 3 or 4 years. And it's I don't understand why the club doesn't see that. And I give Kane one more season anyway. I give him one more season and he'll be gone. And to be honest with you, if the right offer came in the summer, if I was him, I'd actually go. That's the truth.
Kane would love it. He would love it, Man City. Honestly, he would be.
Don't say that.
He gets no service either. He's
60 goals a season at City. Oh, he is honestly just, yeah. We don't even have. Yeah, go on.
Well, since we're on that, I got down your squad list. So I just wanna say a name, and all three of you just say keep or sell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because-
Sell, every.
All right, we'll start from goalkeeper. Laurie.
Sell.
For now, keep.
Laurie, keep.
Okay, so 1 sell, 2 keep. All right, Gazaniga.
Sell.
Sell.
Michel Vaughan's still here. Jesus.
He's trash. I don't know why he was there in the first
Terminate contract.
Yeah. Go away. What are you doing?
All right, Davison Sanchez.
Keep.
Alderweireld.
Keep.
Sell.
Oh, okay. Oh, I just realized. Hold on, none of you guys put Vertonghen in your team. Is he done?
He's gone.
Yeah, because his contract,
He's done.
his contract finished.
He's gone.
Done.
Okay. He's gone. All right, so that's a sell then, right?
Yeah, he's gone.
Okay. Foyth.
So
Okay.
No, yeah. I like Foyth, but we need some ready-made players now, man. None of this potential shit, man.
Yeah.
He's 22. I don't know how much longer you can wait.
and he's not even good
All
anyway.
day long. I'm down with that. Everything's potential. Everything are potential and nothing's down on.
Tanganga.
Keep.
Okay. Davies.
So
Bye.
You know what?
I'll drive him back to Cardiff.
Sell, but we have to keep him because we have no one else who's a natural left back yet. Kirkin hasn't developed. Sessegnon really isn't a left back yet. So we have to buy someone new, have Davies as backup, and then have Sessegnon also there as well. Learning.
I'll pick him up and walk him to where he needs to go.
I agree with Darren. I'll pay for the Uber. Just get rid.
Serge Aurier.
You know what? Ben Davis will be on my left shoulder. Sergio will be on my right shoulder. Bye. Get out of here. All the way out of there, Serge. Later.
Uber pool for that one.
Dyer.
Oh,
Get rid. Sell. He's got 1 year left. We shouldn't be offering him a new deal. We need to be selling him now while we got some value.
I keep him as backup, you know. I keep him as
Get rid of him.
what backup?
Get rid of him, man. Don't let 4 or 5 games cloud your judgment of what you've seen in the past year and a half.
I'm not. I'm talking about the whole time he's been there. He can do a little job, man. Like I'm not saying
give away penalties and that. You can see.
Darren, I used to think that I was sticking up for him at the start of this season, but that Sheffield United game, that 1-1 home draw when he played centre back, tells me all I need to know. He's not good enough for our team.
He's not a centre back. He's not a centre back, but he makes an.
But he's not a DM either. He's not anything.
He's playing. But the thing is, you say he's not a centre back, but he's playing there now, and he is spoken to Jose Mourinho, and his long term, he sees his long term future at centre back.
He's a terrible centre back. He has been from after halfway through his first season. Now
He's put some decent performances there over the past couple of months. So now it's gassed him and it's gassed Mourinho to think that this guy's going to be an option at centre back.
It's just about 1 or 2 decent performances. Not against Man. Not since the restart. He's only had 1 against West Ham. That's it.
No, he's that guy that comes on as an extra defensive option in the 75th minute. I'll keep him.
Nah.
A little bit of strength in depth.
I feel like you're gonna have to keep him because nobody's gonna want to buy him from you.
Wait, that's a good point.
The championship team.
Listen, when Bournemouth are buying the likes of Dominic Solanke for 20 million, we can definitely get like a young 15 M's for Eric Dyer with one year left, man. Come on.
All right, Oliver Skip.
You got to keep him.
Keep for depth, yeah.
I don't really rate him like that, but you got to keep him and see how he can develop.
Yeah,
I like him. I don't have to ask about Endon, Belly, and Michelle, so they must stay.
Yeah.
Jack, your favorite player?
Keep.
As a squad player, I'm probably gonna have to keep.
Keep him.
Okay.
Reluctantly.
Okay.
That's Lucas Moura, yeah?
Musa Sissoko.
Keep.
Yeah.
Sissoko, keep.
Squad player.
Okay. Justin Fernandez.
Get rid.
Yeah.
Get rid.
Get rid
He's
of
on
him.
loan. He's on loan. So
Get rid
he
of him.
is.
Cut the loan short and get rid of him. What does he add to our team? He's a young. As I said, I'm tired of these players who we're waiting on for potential. Do you get what I'm saying? He's not done anything yet.
It's an option to buy. Option to buy for 50 mil next year.
50 million.
How many? Wait, sorry. How much? Sorry, what?
You say 50?
5-0.
Are you being serious?
Yeah.
Option to buy. Get rid.
Get rid.
Go back from whence you came.
It's not even like he's a bad player, because when I've seen him, he has some sort of technical quality and he can carry the ball, but like he serves no purpose in our team. He's not a DM. He's not a good enough central midfielder.
Nope.
What does he do?
He's not a winger, but even though he plays, he's been brought on there. I don't understand.
Nah, man,
He played left wing against Norwich and he was actually quite good there, but he's just
And against Man United as well.
He doesn't make us better. So why is he here? Simple.
Look how we're discussing where he plays, where he plays or doesn't play. He's a Portuguese Lewis Holtby. Go away.
It's true. No, that's a good comparison actually.
Oh, okay. Damn. Oh shit. Okay. Right. So see on.
Keep.
Keep.
All right. Deli Ali.
Sell.
I'd keep him.
Sell. Cash in while people still
Is
think.
that 2 sell 1 keep?
No, get the funds for somebody else. I don't know for somebody else. I don't care.
Sell him now before people clock onto who he really is.
No, I don't think he's rubbish, but I think his time is done at Tottenham. I think he's just got to fail at Spurs, and I think it's time for him to have a fresh start. I do like him as a player, but I think it's over for him at Spurs. That's my personal opinion.
Okay, that's fair. So what's the best way to use him now then?
He's a number 10. He said it himself. He's a number 10, but we're not playing that sort of system. So I think
he's a bit more forward than number. He's like a second striker, in my opinion.
He says he's a number 10. That's what he said. That's what he plays.
Would you try him up top just to rest Kane?
Nah. We have.
Yeah. It doesn't work.
I feel kind of sorry for him, but at the same time, he needs to improve. But me personally, he's someone, I know he's inconsistent, but he's someone who can actually win us games. He's one of the few people in our team who can genuinely win us matches. So for me, I don't really want to lose that relatively quickly. I would rather see Lucas Moura and Eric Lamela be sold before Dele Alli. That's just my opinion.
I just don't want to see him in midfield again. He cannot play in that position ever again. Him and Lamela have this thing where they hold onto the ball for 10, 15 seconds way too long.
Yeah,
and
slows everything.
Now, do you know what it is? Do you know what it is, right? Is that he says he's number 10. I think he's best at number 10, but we don't really play that anymore. And I think he's too good to be just jamming on our bench, right?
Nah, I don't think so. I think if you look at all the other top 6 clubs now, he wouldn't start for any other top 6 club except maybe Arsenal. Probably, in fact, he probably would start for Arsenal.
Of
course, he probably would start for Arsenal, but that's the point. Like, I feel like, look at Man City had the likes of Sane, Phil Foden, Gundogan on the bench. So, like, those are the caliber of players who, but 2 of them are probably slightly better than Dele Alli. So, like, I see no issue with him being on the bench. It makes our squad stronger, and it tells him that he needs to up his levels to get back into our team. So I would keep him.
Yeah, okay. This one, Lucas Moura.
Why?
I would have kept him as a squad player, to be honest.
See you later. No room for sentimentality. See you later.
I'd keep him. You know what? I'd keep him as a squad player because he's a good impact player.
When he comes off the bench, he's actually really good. Yeah.
He's been pony this season, but last year was enough for me to say that, you know what, this guy, I think he can serve a purpose in our team. I would rather, as I said, I'd keep him and Dele Alli, and I would get rid of the next guy that you're gonna mention.
You know who the next guy is, don't you?
Yep. Unanimous sell. Unanimous.
Yeah.
Get rid of him.
He's been in this team for 6 years too long now.
Get rid of him. Get rid of him and sign a proper creative sort of like number 10. Ali, he can play number 10. He can create chances, but he's been poor by his standards creatively this season. And we ain't really replaced Eriksen. a lot of people need to realize that Lo Celso is not Eriksen's replacement. When we signed Lo Celso with that obligation to buy, the plan was to have Lo Celso, Eriksen, and Ndombele, or Lo Celso, Eriksen replacement, and Ndombele. Eriksen's left now. We haven't replaced him, and we went out and signed Steven Bergwijn in January. So we now have another winger, but we don't have that sort of creative player. So get rid of Lamela. Then you have Steven Bergwijn, Lucas Moura, Son Heung-min, and even Dele Alli, who can play on that sort of left-hand channel like he did in his early years at Spurs as well. So get a number 10 in. It's that simple.
That one kind of, it doesn't burn me anymore, but Kale will know on the podcast, when you guys signed him the first time, I was gutted because I was a fan of him at Roma. I used to gas him up quite a bit. So when you guys got him and he looked like he sold well, he came and popped us when he popped us 3-0 at White Hart Lane. And all that, I was frustrated. But you're right, he hasn't stepped forward since, and he's now 28 years old as well. So
he's 28. He's 28, and he still does 50 ball rolls before he releases the ball sideways. It's so frustrating, honestly.
It's the simple stuff he doesn't do. It's the simple things. He can do all the little flicks and tricks and what have you, but when it comes time to release the ball, he don't want to do it.
That's what I'm saying.
So frustrating.
Well said, Darren. Like, look at that Sheffield United game, case in point. Like, compare that to the Man United game. The Man United game, he had 4 or 5 easy passes on.
Yeah,
he couldn't find Son or Harry Kane. And then you look at the Sheffield United game, and he finds that pass that splits the defence open, finds Son, who then gives it to Harry Kane 1-0. So I'm like, you can do that. Like, he's not a bad player. I'll always maintain that. For me, Lamela is not a bad football player. But he's not good enough to be in our team anymore. He's far too inconsistent, and he's injury prone. And he's on like 100 bags a week as well. What are you doing on 100 bags a week? Only we would be stupid enough to pay him that. So get rid of him.
I wish that were true, but we're paying Phil Jones 120. So,
Wait.
Just to digress for a second, right? One thing, right, I will say about Poch is that he was very, very patriotic, right? Overly patriotic. That is why Gazaniga, Foyth, Lamela, and Poch's not very good son are at Spurs.
Oh, wow.
That is one massive criticism I had of Poch.
I agree. He's too patriotic.
Yeah.
I agree.
But yeah,
Foyth.
So it was a big one. You got the big one waiting, Michael.
The big one? What, you mean your game?
No, Harry Kane.
Well, okay. I thought that's unanimous, but I'm gonna jump in there and say sell because I would like him at my club. However, this is a Tottenham thing.
Yeah, we got to keep him. We got to keep him, but I think any knowledgeable Spurs fan acknowledges that Harry Kane's days at our club are numbers, in my opinion. And I think we're lucky that he got this. Well, I say we're lucky. We're unlucky he had the injury, but in a sense, it's sort of put off suitors because he's just come back from this big injury. Plus, you have coronavirus as well. So they're thinking, you know what? This guy's just been injured for 4 or 5 months. Should we be spending 120 million on someone who's going to be ruled out for the rest of the season? And then you got to take into consideration that coronavirus has impacted people's funds, etc. So this summer we're cool. But if he stays fit for the whole of next season, next summer as well, after the World Cup or Euros or whatever it is, he's gone. Man City, Aguero's contract ends at the end of next season. I can see them looking for him. Luis Suarez declining at Barcelona. If they can get their finances right, I can see them sniffing at him at the end of the season as well. Even Man United, even Manchester United, they're on an upward trajectory now. They're flying at the moment. They got the funds. They got the resources. At the end of next season, depending on how they do in the league, I can see them going for him as well because he's going to be 27 years old, and we need to be realistic. This guy, a player of his caliber, cannot accept the situation that he's in right now. He needs to go and win trophies.
Yeah.
So whilst I'd love to keep him, I'm no spring chicken. I know full well next summer there's every likelihood that he could leave our club.
And he's intimated as much. And you know, all the clubs that you've mentioned, Toby, right? All the clubs that you've mentioned can provide him the service he requires, right? Which is, at this moment, he's not getting at Spurs. Hence the reason Jack is calling him a DM. Because the way he has to drop deep to get that ball, right, annoys me greatly, right? Because he has to just... I'm not saying he's a fox in the box. You can drop a little bit deep. You can drop you know, to a certain extent. But the way he has to drop to receive the ball is inexcusable for us, man. Like, you need to be just pinging crosses to him. You need to be putting through balls to him. And everybody seems to have their own blasted agenda. And Harry Kane is getting frustrated. You can tell it. And we're not going to qualify for Champions League next season. So he's going to want to spend the rest of his career in Europa or nothing at all. No, he won't. He won't. And he'll command stupidly huge wages wherever he goes, man. So it's we're the architects of our own downfall where he's concerned.
I agree.
Is it a case of sacrificing him in order to get that rebuild? Because we all know that Daniel Levy isn't most likely to get out the checkbook.
I think that's how it's going to start, really. If it is going to start, but that's the only way it's going to even happen, really. He's not going to spend his own money, to be honest. And there's a stadium debts to be paid as well, so it's the only way.
To be honest, I was going to say the stadium sort of pays the stadium debt. When the stadium is open, the stadium debt sort of pays itself, because that stadium generates so much money that I don't really think we need to worry about the debt per se. But what we do need to worry about is whether we have this chairman who will be as ambitious as we've wanted him to be for like the last 15, 16 years in the window. Even if we get that Harry Kane money, are you going to use this money to reinvest and get the first choice, not the second choice, not the third choice, the first choice? Pay him his wages, pay the transfer fee. Is he going to do that? I don't know.
Yeah, we can't trust him to do that. That's the problem. That is true. That is a massive problem. We can't even trust him to do that.
Yeah.
No.
Bleak. It's very bleak if you're a Spurs fan right now.
It's so bad.
What are the glare? You said there were glaring positions that you need to buy in. What are they?
Left back, centre back, right back, defensive midfielder, and 1,000% we need a backup striker. We need not one of these fluid forwards as well. We need a recognised backup striker who has probably a bit more pace than Harry Kane. If you asked me 3-4 years ago, I would have taken someone like Josh King. You lot might laugh at it, but Josh King would have been the perfect foil for me. He can play out wide. He's a big, tall, physical presence as well. He's got a decent eye for goal as well. Someone like that. So it doesn't have to be an elite striker. It just has to be someone who can come off the bench and chip him with a few goals, like Liverpool got with Divock Origi. It's something.
Why not even like a Moussa Dembele or a Batshuayi or just someone that can chip in with a few goals?
A few years ago, yes. Batshuayi now, no.
I'd still take Batshuayi now. He's still young.
I would.
He's 25, 26.
I don't know.
Taken.
I don't know.
Daniel Sturridge got
his headspace. I don't know if he's gonna come and actually do the job necessary, because there's why he doesn't play at Chelsea. Do you understand? There's a reason why nobody's coming for him. So
is he also willing to play back up to Harry Kane as well? Because he's like you said, he's 25. Would he go from Chelsea which he's being a backup striker at Chelsea, to being a backup striker at Tottenham? I don't think you would you?
Yeah, I think he probably wants more game time, but I think we need to stop. Football fans, especially Spurs fans, need to stop pigeonholing ourselves into thinking that because Harry Kane is so good, we can't get another striker to come in and be a backup striker. We've seen plenty of successful sides over the years operate with 2, even 3 strikers. We were the kings. We were the kings of having 3-4 strikers. Back in Martin Yo's time, he had before early on he had Defoe, Canute, Robbie Keane. Then he switched to Defoe, Berbatov, Robbie Keane. Then he had Defoe, Berbatov, Robbie Keane, Darren Bent. And then when Defoe left, we had Pavlyuchenko, Darren Bent. Then we had Darren Bent, Defoe, Pavlyuchenko, Robbie Keane. Like, we've always operated with 2 or more strikers. It's only until recently that all of a sudden it's acceptable for us to have one, and we can't sign another striker because who wants to sit on the bench to Harry Kane? Right? I'm bored of it. Go splash the money and get a decent replacement in, and I promise you they will join.
Yeah, I would have even taken before Daniel Sturridge moved to Turkey. I would have got him on a free, just to sit on a bench, page play sort of thing. Just anything.
It's his injuries.
Yeah.
That
these strikers is a bit dread. But do you know what? Daniel Sturridge, I wouldn't have been averse to it. I wasn't averse to Giroud coming in January.
No, neither was I. To be
I
fair,
wasn't averse to it at all. I wasn't averse to Giroud coming in January. So, it's just that
Taking Arsenal scraps, I see.
Nah, see, I was averse to it as well. You know what? I'm not sure if my mind has changed, but with the Giroud one, I wanted a striker to come in who could actually score goals. Like Giroud is a good goal scorer, but he's not. Giroud is a scorer of good goals, and he's got the technical abilities and hold up, but he's not someone who I think could come in and score consistently now for 6, 7, 8 games in a stretch. I don't think that's him, and that's why I didn't want Giroud. I wanted someone who could at least come in. And if you're playing, let's say, 30 games in a season, I want you to at least be hitting 12 to 15 goals. At least. That's 1 and 2. I think a decent to good striker should be hitting 1 and 2. I'm sorry.
What, even one who's back up?
Yeah, even one who's back up, man. Think about it. Like, let's. You know what? Maybe 1 and 2 is kind of harsh, but 1 and 3 at least. I want you. If you play 30 games, at least. Let me switch it. 10 to 13 goals. You can give me that. You can give me that.
That's fair. That's
10 to 13 goals. You can give me.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like, we have to remember, Dimitar Berbatov would score like 20, 21 goals. Robbie Keane would score maybe like 21 goals. Jermaine Defoe, before he left, would have had maybe like probably about like 12 to 15 goals.
Yeah.
And even the season when Adebayor came, Adebayor had something like 17 goals in like 30-something appearances. Defoe had like 16 goals in 30-something appearances. There will be enough game time for you to score goals because Harry Kane, as we've seen, he's good for an injury for at least 2-3 months every season now. It's happened for about 4 years now. So
He's still never
we need to be comfortable in getting someone who can come in, bring us goals, and will be okay sitting on the bench if they're earning X amount per week.
Wait, what's wrong with you? Let's start wrapping it up. So let's go 3 dream signings. 3 dream signings, but realistic signings. Which would you want? Who would you want?
Thomas Partey.
Yeah.
Thomas Partey.
Yeah.
I've been told that Jose Mourinho has this pool with players. The great benefit is even if we don't get Europa League, we have Mourinho. Players want to work for Mourinho. We need to try and put that into great effect. It will never happen, but he's got a release clause of around 40-odd million. I'm sure if we're paying Ndombele 200k a week, Harry Kane 200 plus a week, and Lamela 100k a week, you can afford it. So financially, I see no reason why you can't afford it. Pierre-Emerick Højbjerg is being quoted at 35 million with a year left on his contract. And you're telling me that you can get Thomas Partey for maybe 6 or 7 million more and you're not even going to attempt.
Yeah. Well, that goes to show that we're barely going to spend in the summer if we're not even going to go for a quality player.
That would be my dream.
Like that, but...
Any more?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think probably the most important position is for me. Actually, there's so many important positions, but yeah, Thomas Partey would be one of them because we need that steel in front of the defence. And you have to look at the amount of clean sheets that we've kept in the Prem. I think we're like just below Bournemouth and just above Bournemouth and Norwich. It's like all the relegation fodder have kept like say 4 clean sheets, and we've only kept 5 in the Prem all season. We are poor. Arsenal are above us on goal difference as well. Like, come on, man.
I think I would take.
We need somebody who can really shield at the back and actually can pass as well. Do you understand? Somebody technically a lot better than Sissoko. But I'll give him his props. I'll give Sissoko his props. He's done a job. So
I would. A lot of people hate on him. Red hair. I would take Coutinho on loan. I think that would be a fantastic signing for us.
That's one of mine.
I'm one of the few people who aren't put off by his stint at Barcelona. Once a quality player, always a quality player. It's the same thing I said for Christian Eriksen as well. I think he's a talented player. He can play on the left. He can play central. He's good at set pieces. He's good at long distance shooting, and he's got creativity and flair. He adds genuine quality into our team, and he is someone who can actually win you games. So if he's available on loan, go and try and get him this summer. Simple as. And I take if they go down, when they go down, I'll take Nathan Ake at Bournemouth. A lot of people disagree with me, but I think we need a new left-sided centre-back. Unfortunately for us, Jan Vertonghen's time's come to an end, and he, in my opinion, was the best defender that we've had in the past decade by a distance. So it's big shoes to fill. It's big shoes to fill, and I think he is the one for me that I see Premier League experience, physically okay, versatile, and he's got decent qualities on the ball as well. So I would go for Nathan Ake.
Yeah. Any left backs? Because Ben Davies is killing me right now.
The left back I want, we can't get. I would love to get Digne from Everton.
Digne, yeah.
Oh.
Can't get him.
Love to get Digne.
We can't get him. Ben Chilwell was overrated, but I'd take him at Spurs. But not at the price they're asking, but I'd take him at Spurs.
I'll even take Seamus Coleman at Spurs when it comes to going. So.
Seamus Coleman's decent, and he's better than Aurier.
Yeah. He's better, much better than Aurier. Much better than
Aurier.
Everybody, we're better than Aurier. All three of us.
Yeah, the left back one's trickier, and this is where we need our scouting to be on point. Tagliafico at Ajax, he looks decent as well. Alex Telles or whatever his name is at Porto. He looks decent too.
Luke Shaw?
No, he's trash.
I know Michael's a big fan.
Hey, I think he's willing to give him to you, to be honest with you.
Huge. Oh, I actually got to Manchester myself, pack his bags for him, and then bring him down myself. Also.
Just bring us Greenwood and we're good, yeah?
Listen.
Man. Don't worry about Luke Shaw. Bring us Greenwood. Just to say, I agree with I've got the same as two of Toby's dream three. Thomas Partey, and you know what? Because every time I hear him being linked with Arsenal, I get annoyed. I get very, very annoyed because I'm just like, why don't we come in for him? And I was going to say Coutinho. I actually thought everybody would cast me. I thought you lot would cast me about that, to be honest with you. Because it's exactly what we require. He can take set pieces. He can thread. He's got the through balls. You know what I mean? It's exactly what we need. And Harry Kane, people like Kane and Son would thrive of somebody of that caliber. I mean, how old is he? He's about 28 now. So he's not,
28,
he's not done. You know what I'm saying? But every time I've been saying, I talk to my friend about it all the time. I'm saying if we could get Philippe Coutinho, that would be amazing.
The only problem with Coutinho coming is Ndombele is going the other way.
No, man.
That's the only problem. The Barca president has always wanted Ndombele.
We're supposed to be ambitious.
The Barca president has always wanted
I'm
Ndombele.
saying, I'm with Darren. Keep them. It's annoying, but keep them both. This board, they need to. I feel like it comes a point where you have to go beyond your means or live outside your comfort zone to survive and to elevate yourself. And Coutinho is 1,000% what we need. As the club showed small ambition in trying to get Dybala towards the end of last summer. That was when we had Eriksen and Lo Celso and Ndombele. So just replicate some of that ambition that you're trying to show there and try and get Coutinho.
Yeah, man.
It doesn't work with just Ndombele and Lo Celso or Lo Celso and Coutinho. We need all three. We had a dearth of creativity in our team for years, and the big benefit of two of those players in Lo Celso and Ndombele coming in was that if we had a fully functioning Eriksen, we would have had pure options for creativity. Now we're back to square one again, and we still need that void filled.
But if we all right, say we did want Dybala at that time on that deadline day, right? Why aren't we matching that ambition now or anytime soon? Because that tells me that were we really in for him at all? Was it a smokescreen?
We didn't even match the ambition because we never got Dybala in the first place.
Exactly.
And that's where you have to question Daniel Levy. It's the same thing with Bruno Fernandes. You made multiple bids for him in the summer. You sold Eriksen or you're planning to sell Eriksen in January. Why would you not go in for him again?
Coach, stop grinning like that, bro.
I'm sorry, man. I love him too much, man. I love him too much. I would have been so gutted if he went anywhere else because I wanted him for like
honestly
18 months.
Look how he's elevated Man United. Look at how he's elevated that flipping side. And we could have had him for peanuts in comparison, and we didn't do it, right? That we have no ambition whatsoever, none.
It was actually perfect for you guys because he was talking about wanting to play for Pochettino and obviously living in London as well. Like everything was literally in your favour. It was just about paying the fee. Yeah, it's just about paying the fee and giving him the wages. And he didn't even ask for high wages like that. But
Even in January as well, when he said he wanted to play under Mourinho too. It just didn't match.
You know, the thing is, we have to remember this, yeah? Regardless of how jammy everybody thinks it was, we were Champions League finalists last season. Champions League finalists. We were regular Champions League participants, right? And now look at us, yeah? Look at us. Players wanted to come to us, but we didn't want to pay the paltry sums that were being touted for these players. Like, it's absolutely deplorable, despicable, honestly. Like, and I have to say, like, Daniel Levy has got a lot to answer for in terms of playing staff. There's no point building the stadium and not having the success on the pitch. The stadium is built for that success. The stadium is built for those Champions League nights. Do you know what I mean? Built for winning titles and what have you. And we're just going backwards. I don't diss the stadium because I love the stadium. Everybody knows how much I love the stadium. But I don't get how you would have that and then you want to play Europa in there. And you don't want to do anything. You want to get West Ham in there. Do you know what I mean?
The Emirates Stadium was built to match, the ambitions of Bayern Munich, and so.
I don't understand why you're bringing Arsenal to this. This is a Tottenham discussion, so I say we keep it to your shit show.
But what
leave our shit show alone.
No,
but he's right though. He's got a point.
He's right.
And Darren hit the nail on the head as well. You didn't build that stadium to be playing Europa League in it. And the problem with Daniel Levy, like for me personally, I'm not Levy out because I appreciate all the good work he's done for us, but. I'm losing my patience with this guy because it's always one good thing is counteracted by one stupid thing. And it's set us back so many years now. So, and there's only so much you can take. Like, it comes a point where you have to focus on the football. The guy's too business-minded. You have to focus on the football because the football is what is driving your business. Pochettino and those players is what drove your business and this club to the position that we're in now. So why would you not focus solely on improving that as well as improving the infrastructure around it? It's stupid.
I don't see why you can't do both. I do not see why he can't do both.
Silly.
It's
silly. It's silly. And the thing is, he's shot himself in his foot now. He's shot himself in the foot now because now we're facing a situation where we need about 4, 5, maybe even 6 players all at once. When a logical chairman or a logical team like Man City, like Liverpool, they recruit incrementally. They would buy 2 or 3 in this window. Then they'll buy 2 or 3 next year. Then they'll buy 1 next year. Then they'll buy 2 the year after. Slowly addressing the issues. You saw the mess that Man City led themselves into years back when they had the likes of Sanya on his last legs, Clichy on his last legs, Zabaleta on his last legs. All these players, the squad was old, needed refreshing. They had that boom when they hit the squad with about 6 or 7 players. And since then, it's been gradual. It's been incremental. They haven't needed to go out and splurge on 5, 6 players every window. They don't need to do that anymore. Now, he needs to splurge on 5 or 6 players and learn from your mistakes and then start signing incrementally. None of this bullshit where we go a season without signing a single player. None of this bullshit where we have a January window when our star striker gets injured and you don't sign a striker. You don't sign a defensive midfielder. It's enough now. And the fans have had enough. You'll struggle to find any Spurs fan who actually speaks about Daniel Levy positively. And if he doesn't watch himself, it's going to get to a situation where it's got to our Arsenal, where it's literally the fans are at loggerheads with the board.
Yeah. Well, it's heading that way anyway. There was a banner that was going to be flown above the stadium, wasn't it? Allegedly.
We can wait for that a little piece. We're not Arsenal. We don't like to. I don't want to do them things. Do you know what I mean? But
I think we have to. To be honest, I'm not against it. I'm not against it at all. I'm just waiting for that.
We know, Jack. We know.
That Jeff Bezos buyout. The Amazon Stadium. Yeah.
Oh, that's another.
I'm just waiting for that, man.
What's happened to the naming rights? Because they were supposed to be in place for a while. So I don't know what he's doing with those, but I suppose he's touting what, 320 million he wants for the naming rights for the stadium.
Wow.
Nobody wants to say that.
I think he can get that, to be honest. If it's like a 10-year deal or whatnot, I think he can get that, to be honest. The stadium is always going to that stadium is foolproof. That stadium, no matter whether we play, I think it's foolproof. I think that stadium is always going to make money, no matter what.
It was built, the way it was designed, everything that it was designed in that stadium was just to make money, right? And that's why it was supremely clever. Everything from that long bar, from all the food places you see, for everything from the shop. The club shop is beautiful, right? The club shop is beautiful. Everything
Watch
in
the football as well.
to make peas. Do you understand? So why not invest in the success on the pitch to continue that, to further that? Do you understand? It's not as you said, Toby. It's like, you know, you do one great thing and then do one stupid thing, and it's supremely dumb and supremely naive to believe that alone is going to appease the fans. It's not. We want to see our team win something. 20 years of Enich, one trophy, right? I'm not getting any younger out here, you know. I'm not getting any younger. Bro, I see my team win the league in 43 years. Come on. Like, let's have some ambition now.
Honestly.
Let's go on the cusp. And I was tired of being on the verge. I'm sick and tired of being on the verge. I'm tired. I'm telling you from now, I'm pouring my heart out. I am tired of being on the damn verge. Right?
Free the real, man.
I've seen I've seen everybody. Arsenal, as much as I hate it, Liverpool, United, City have had glory nights in their stadiums. Do you understand? Champions League glory, well, except City and Arsenal, please, Champions League, whatever.
They got the league. They got the leagues.
Do you understand? The league titles.
More than what we got.
You can't even get FA Cup.
You can say what you want.
Exactly.
You can say what you want, but we've seen it. We've seen it at your old place. So you can say what you want, Darren. You can say
whatever,
what you want.
man. Whatever, Cahill, man. Whatever, right? But I'm tired of seeing all these glory nights everywhere else except our place, and I'm done.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
It is embarrassing. Of course, it's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing.
So the infrastructure it should theoretically be in place for American ownership. You got the NFL deals, you got the flirting with Amazon and Google. It's all in place for that. It's just whether it happens or whether it happens anytime soon, and whether the investment whether it goes for the right price for ENIC as well. But that's something we've got to see.
What did they want? What did they want? They wanted about 2 or 3 billion, didn't they?
Something along the lines of that.
I don't think 3. I reckon they could probably sell it for maybe 1.5 to 2 billion.
Yeah, they could do that because it's like I said, it's a cash cow. All the money will come back to them. But I think it might be. I will say this. I do believe it might be time to sell. If you're not gonna improve where it counts, and you're not gonna invest where it counts. Well, you're a hindrance now. Do you understand? And I can't believe I'm saying that, but I want to give it one more season. And then I'll tell you whether I'm fully Levy out or not.
I'm swinging by that same boat as well. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Are ENIC American owners?
No, John Lewis is English.
Okay, right. Okay.
John Lewis owns. He's worth about 4 billion. Lives on a stupidly expensive yacht.
Yeah.
He never came to Spurs. I don't really get him. I don't really get him at all. But if this is the case, you know, you can make a sizable profit on Tottenham now. So if you're not really interested in what's going on the pitch, it's time you just sell to somebody who is interested. You know what I mean? Because we can't go on like this any longer. We finished above Liverpool 8 out of 9 seasons a couple of years back. They've now gone on to 2 Champions League finals, losing one, winning one, and winning the league. And where are we? Where are we? What are we? Level on points with Burnley, or is it a point of... Come on, man. Come on.
I think on that note we should wrap up. So
good for you stopped it, bruv, because you know what?
It's gonna go on for a while. It's gonna go for a while. So Darren T, where can they find you?
On Twitter, Hotspur 1076. And
Jack, where can they find you?
On Twitter at THFC Jack, JAK, and Spurs Unfiltered as well.
Toby, where can they find you?
Tapping Tobes on Twitter, Tapping Football on Twitter and Instagram, and Tapping Tobes on Instagram as well, and also Spurs Unfiltered.
Coach, where can they find us?
You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, or Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, and Twitter. From midfield, and you can find Bruno Fernandes at Old Trafford.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay.
I don't know where you live, you know. I know where you live.
This has been another episode of the Free Me Full podcast. Good night.